Hello everyone. This is going to be a very long video, so please bear with me. I have my notes here about what we're going to talk about today. We got a lot to cover. So I posted a video a couple weeks ago about the Epstein File release and how people are reacting to it, or rather the lack of reaction from society on these files. I had a lot of comments and I talked to a lot of people that led me down a lot of research paths that gave me a lot of new information. I've been meaning to make a video on it for a while now, and we're coming up pretty close to a date that's going to be pretty important, and I need to have this video released before then. So, hello. About the Epstein Files. We all know that the government released this at a specific time for a specific reason. This isn't just a crime that happened with some rich dudes on an island. These people are the people who run our society. These are the elites, the rich and the famous and the politicians, okay? They had full control on whether those files were going to be released or not. And they eventually released the files, and they released it at a time that was obviously convenient for them, not for us. Keep that in mind. What's in these files is true, but do not let the files distract you, because there are bigger issues happening in the world and in our country right now that we need to keep our eyes open for. And there's only so much we can do about the files right now. Honestly, in my opinion, they're no longer top priority. But out of all the top priorities, it's the only one getting the most attention right now. So, again, I'm saying exactly what I said before. Do not read the files. Do not open the files. I made a video talking about how I was spiritually attacked when I opened the files, and there were many, many people. Not only did I see talking about this before I even made that video, saying the same exact thing that I did, but even after I created that video, I had dozens of comments of people agreeing with me that they experienced the exact same thing, being attacked in their dreams or in their waking life, or just straight up getting that knot in their stomach telling them, nope, I am not opening up these files. I don't want to know. I don't need to know what's in them. Don't open the fucking files. I don't suggest getting your information from a second source, but I'm not opening up the files. I know enough about what's in them. I don't need to know the details. I know too many details as it is. Speaking of details, a reminder of what's in the files. I'm not going to get too graphic because honestly, I can't even stand it anymore. But what I am going to say is this is a reminder. It's not just grown men sleeping with barely legal teenage girls. No, these things were ritualistic. They did sacrifices, they did rituals, they messed around with blood, with cannibalism. There were victims of all ages. Their youngest victim was literally attached to the umbilical cord. Their victims were of all genders, all races. Some were taken from their parents, and some of them were given up by their parents. And some of them, their parents even contributed to the ritual. And the intention behind these rituals was literally to become more rich, more famous, more influential, and have more power. And they sacrificed good and pure things in this world and did evil acts to get that. And what do you know? They succeeded, because those people, what were they? They were elites, the most rich, the most powerful, the most influential people in not even our country, from many countries, from people all over the world. Obviously, the rituals worked. So, to all you non-believers out there, it's time to gain some pattern recognition, is all I gotta say. Time to start using your God-given brain. Anyway, update on the files, though. Many people are saying that they aren't... Here's the thing. So many people are saying things from different sides, and I don't know what's true and what's not. I think we all know by now we can't trust anything in the media ever. You can either choose to get your information from random people online, which I trust the people more than I trust the system and mainstream media. and extremely influential corporations, demonic celebrities, and what they have to say about things like this. You get to choose which one you want to listen to. I personally prefer to listen to the people. They're probably more uneducated, but they're more honest and have better intentions. So I tend to go with what the people say more. But I've heard from many different sides. Some people are saying that they really are investigating the files, and there are politicians who are stepping down quietly from their positions, and other people in power are quietly stepping down from their positions for being involved in the files. But some people are also saying nothing is happening and none of these people are getting arrested, which both could be true. These people in power could be stepping down, but also not getting arrested. It could be both. I haven't heard of anybody getting arrested so far. But on that note, with a lot of people talking about how Trump is in the files, everybody freaked out about Trump being in the files. I have heard some people say that Trump was apparently an agent sent to investigate or spy on Epstein, and that while I've always known for years now that supposedly Trump and Epstein were not the best of friends, and Trump, I guess, supposedly never liked Epstein, it's hard to know what is what. Everybody in power plays both sides of the field. I mean, obviously we see Israel do that a lot. Anyway, there's a lot of people trying to figure out what to do about this situation. And like in one of my previous videos, when I was talking about the going on strike against the system to not participate in the economy, forcing the economy to collapse, and then forcing all the people in power who rely on the economy, who rely on our money, on us paying them, would eventually be just as helpless, basically, as we are. What is happening here is they feed on us, and we also feed on them. There is an exchange here between us as the civilians and the government, the system, the elites, all the people in higher power. They do need us. They need our money. They need our participation in this game. But at the same time, we also need them. And that's why this game continues to play on, is because at the end of the day, we all still need each other. According to Google, 30% of US citizens, which would be, if I remember correctly, 104.7 million people, would have to stop participating in the economy for, I believe, over 24 hours to completely collapse it. And that means not going to work, not paying any bills, not paying any taxes, not buying anything, not going anywhere, no paying for gas, no nothing. 104.7 million people, 30% of the US population, would have to stop for at the least 24 hours to collapse the economy. Depending on how long we played that out for, the economy would get worse and worse and worse and worse until eventually the people in charge would have to answer to us and adhere to our demands. That's how that works, but I'll get into my opinions on it later. But I do want to bring up, somebody commented on that post where I was talking about that and told me to look up March 7th, and I did. March 7th, aka 7 Strike, is a strike happening on March 7th, which is funny, it's on a Saturday, which I thought was really weird because most people don't go to work on Saturday anyway, obviously. But then I found out that it lasts for more than one day. It starts on March 7th and then it continues going. I did do research into it, watched many of the videos made by the creator and other people. I even joined their Discord and even sent out posts of it everywhere and sent it to many people I know. All of them basically laughed in my face. So if you're one of those people out there who's wondering why it seems like you're surrounded by NPCs, trust me, you are not alone, okay? I am in the same exact place. I can promise you there is not a singular person in my entire life I've got right now who isn't calling me crazy and stupid for the effort I'm putting into this to hopefully make you feel a little bit better if you're experiencing the same thing. Because all of us awake people are still very spread out, unfortunately. So along with March 7th, there was actually many other organizations and strikes happening. There's the 24-hour music festivals that are happening right now. Those are not related to the Epstein Files. They're related to the ICE thing we have going on. I'm not really going to call it an issue because me personally, I don't disagree with ICE. What I don't like is how aggressive it's getting. What I don't like is that they're knocking on literally everybody's homes. I am not gonna lie. That reminds me of a certain thing. And while I am one of those people who does believe that we were lied to about World War II, I definitely think there are some things that are considered pretty extreme. I'm completely legal. I may be Mexican, but I'm from here. I was born and raised here. Actually, I don't even know the Mexican side of my family. Like, never met them ever. I know I have nothing to worry about. And if you're legal, you also have nothing to worry about. But I still don't like the idea of government agents coming up and knocking on everybody's door. And I don't know if people are twisting the stories, but unprovoked entering people's homes, supposedly, I don't know. I'm probably getting a lot of videos from extreme anti-ICE activists who are probably making it out to be a bigger deal than it is, but if they're right, even at all, about the aggression and the severity of the situation, I'm uncomfortable. I want the illegals out of our country. I do. It's just a little aggressive. What we're doing here is just a little bit aggressive. Regardless, there's many other organizations like United Uprising. I tried to do a little bit of research on it. I think they might be another anti-ICE thing, but they also kind of seemed like involved in many different activist groups. March 15th, out of all of these things, what I'm seeing has the most attention right now would be March 7th, the 7 strike. Unless there's another one I don't know about. There's probably so many more I don't know about. There's the one that I created that about 2 different people in my comment section agreed with, and that was the April 15th one. Obviously, I'm being a little bit more generous with time, but here's my opinion with going on these strikes. I will give you that now. These strikes only work when enough people cooperate. And that's why me personally, I feel like this is one of these things where you need to create a file for people to sign. And if you get enough signatures, then it happens. This is one of those things where either almost everybody needs to participate for it to happen, or some people are going to end up participating, but not enough. And those are the people who are going to get punished. Unfortunately, I cannot call it a cowardly thing. I'd have to call it an intellectual thing to not participate in these organized activist groups. I'm willing to add my signature and then we can plan out something. You know, I'm willing to show up to events, but when it comes down to doing things that are straight up illegal and can like cost me my job, cost me my home, cost me my freedom from jail, I'm not going to be participating in this unless there's enough people for it to actually succeed. Right now, last time I checked, they had about 4,000 people on Discord. It's been a while since I checked. That's not enough. Again, we need at least 104.7 million people. And the more people I talk to about this, like in real life, people I actually know, and the more I had people laugh in my face, the more I realized that this isn't going to work. Not because those people were right, that it's not going to work at all, but because there's too many people like that who are too afraid to participate, who are too hopeless and lazy to participate. There's too many people like that, and there's also too many people in this country who don't even care to begin with. And like, let me remind you, most of America, just in general, are all just workers. They work, they go home, they watch some stupid TV programming with their family, and then they go to sleep. I just looked it up. The numbers are actually different than I thought they would be. 9% of Americans don't speak English. For over 21% of Americans, English is not their first language, which means whatever news they are watching is probably not in English and might not even be for Americans. Surprisingly, only about 4.5 of the people in America are illegal immigrants, which I feel like the number should be higher than that. Not because of like what the news is saying, but from like actual experience I've had in the outside world. There's like illegal immigrants everywhere. They basically brag about being illegal immigrants at this point. You always know who they are. It's not just because they're Mexican. They literally tell you when they're illegal immigrants. In my experience, at least, it's hilarious. My point is, most Americans are completely oblivious to even the news to begin with. They're living in their own little world, their own little bubble, have no idea what's going on outside of like their home, work, and family. And like most of them, like there's so many of them that don't even speak English to begin with, and just they have no clue what's happening right now. We could literally go door to door with flyers, message everybody we know in our contacts list, and I still don't think we would get enough people, especially with how many hopeless, lazy, just people who are not willing to participate, who exist, who just don't think it'll work, so they're just not even going to try. With how many people have that kind of reaction, I genuinely don't think we'd ever get enough people. And it's definitely one of those things where it's either all of us or none of us. Because if it's not enough people and you are one of those people participating, you are the one who will be punished. You are the only one who will be punished. And that's not going to be me. Anyway, moving on. Protesting won't work. I kept hearing that over and over and over again. First of all, look up the definition of protesting. Because if you're referring to what I think you're referring to, while I do agree, you're not using that word properly. Okay, protesting literally just means what I'm doing right now is protesting. Protesting literally means to say or do something in defiance of something else. Literally making an X post about disliking a celebrity is a protest. Deciding to boycott a grocery store is a protest. Burning down cities is also a protest. Rioting is also a protest. Marching the streets is also a protest. Protesting is more than just standing around with signs and shouting into microphones on the street and blocking traffic, because we have so many rights here in America. At least we did for a while, it seemed, that we were allowed to say whatever we wanted online, and we forgot that freedom of speech doesn't exist everywhere, and being able to say whatever the fuck we want online is a sign of protesting. We are a very protest-loving country, so much to the point that we forgot what the definition of protesting even means. Just putting our political opinions online is illegal in other countries. You can get your ass thrown in jail in other countries for doing that shit. We are very pampered here. But moving on, your version of protest, what you're talking about, I do agree. Blocking the roads with signs, screaming at the top of your lungs about what you believe in or how you feel or whatever it is, doesn't work anymore. It's debatable if it ever really did work. I absolutely agree. And also, I don't agree with violence ever. So we are not rioting. We are not burning down cities. We are not starting fights with other people. I'm so sick of all of that. Like, and just the politics, okay? We need to stop with the fucking politics. I'm so done with the people trying to get the politics involved with the Epstein Files. Shut up. Nobody fucking cares. Nobody fucking cares about your politics anymore. And that includes the ICE stuff, okay? I'm not becoming involved in those ICE protests. I'll protest for the Epstein Files. I'll go out there on the streets with a sign just to feel a little bit better about myself. But I will not be out there for the anti-ICE protests, okay? With that said, if you genuinely care about what's happening with this Epstein shit, if you genuinely care about what the elites are doing, what these Epstein files prove that the elites are doing, and if you genuinely care about the fact that not enough people are being put into jail, this isn't being investigated enough, this isn't getting enough attention, the victims are not getting enough justice, if you truly cared, you would shut the fuck up about politics. This isn't about the left or right or being conservative or liberal, okay? This is about innocent lives. This is about humans, about victims, not on one race or another, not on one gender or another, not on one age or another, not on one political side or the other. It is an attack on humankind that is happening right now, and we need to start treating it that way. Moving on, back to those people who keep talking shit about how protesting won't work. Multiple countries have just recently, not like a couple years ago, couple decades ago, I mean just recently, since about 2023, multiple countries have overthrown their governments. Multiple countries are still in the process of protesting against their government. Many people in power, like politicians, have also stepped down in other countries, have been forced to step down in other countries because they were involved with the Epstein crimes. No other countries are having it. Everybody else is pissed, but for whatever reason, Americans, we're like literally the country that loves protesting more than any other country. When it comes down to this, every other country is protesting. I mean, it's not all about the Epstein files. They all have their own corruption happening within their own countries, but everybody is pissed at their country leaders right now. For years now, I've been trying to figure out where to move to get away from all of this, but at this point, nowhere on this planet is safe anymore. Nowhere. Every government seems to be corrupted at this point, or involved in some kind of war, or has some human rights issues. Everybody's saying, get out of America, but my advice is find your home, stick to it, because there ain't any place better. There's no place better than your own home. The entire world is about to burst into flames right now. I would love for, if you have any ideas, to suggest them and to put them in the comments of places that sound like they're doing good. But every place I seem to research has something questionable going on, and I don't trust anywhere right now. If it has a government, it's just as dangerous as America is right now. Right, so going back to protesting. So a lot of people are talking about filing exempt on their taxes. I'm probably not the best person to be giving advice on this because I don't know if it actually works or not. But what I do know is, like I was saying earlier, if it's something illegal that can get you in trouble later, I would suggest just not doing it for now, unless you have enough people who are signing up willing to do it at the same time. Stick around because I know it sounds like I'm being a very negative Nancy right now, saying that, there's nothing we can do, but there are things we can do. I'm getting there. Just stick around for that, please. Oh, that's literally the next thing I'm talking about. Right. Stop paying them. Number one thing. You don't have to, not go to work and not pay your taxes and not pay your bills to still fuck up the system. Boycott mainstream products. I mean, I don't understand why people haven't done this yet, because I've been doing it for years. Anybody who's a conspiracy theorist, I think, knows by now, and traditional people as well know by now that, our food is poisoned, our water is poisoned, our face products are poisoned, literally everything is poison. Our clothes are poisonous. Literally everything is poisonous in this country. But with that said, if you're not ahead on this, let me remind you of what we recently found out. Actually, if you're a conspiracy theorist, us conspiracy theorists, we hate being right all the time. But if you're a conspiracy theorist, you already knew about this. What's in the fast food? Tell me, what's in the fast food? Do you know what's in the fast food yet? Human remains. I mean, we already knew this for years, but now they're just outright telling you and saying it. Yeah, humans are in the fast food, in the hamburger meat, and some of y'all are still eating it. It's not that hard. Find your local organic store. Start buying your dairy products from local farms, your honey from local places, everything organic, everything cotton, everything in paper bags. Like, seriously, you can go look in my fridge right now. Everything is organic. Everything is also, for the most part, whole foods. I make my own food. I don't need to be buying these extravagant pre-made meals or these processed foods in a bag pre-made for me. If you're hungry for a snack, eat an apple. It's not that hard. If you need some protein, cook a steak in butter. It's really not that hard. Okay, I'm sorry. I understand addictions are messed up. I have an addictive personality. I get addicted to things too. But if you have any amount of self-control, you need to understand that this is a big deal. This is a very big deal. This isn't something you can just, wait till the next New Year's to make a New Year's resolution about it. No, you need to stop now. Not only are you literally poisoning yourself when you eat these things, but you are giving money to these big corporations, first of all, who are happily poisoning you, and second of all, are literally killing people, not only with that poison they're feeding you, but the people they're putting in the food. They literally just want your money, and they'll do whatever they can to take it. They've chemically altered the food to make it addictive so you'll eat it more, and then put poison in it, and also put humans in it. Like, it is literally demonic to consume these foods. It's demonic, it's morally wrong, and it's unhealthy for yourself, not only your body, but for your own mind, for you to give in to an addiction so easily avoidable. You're weak, and it shows in your body. I'm not saying that as an insult. I'm saying that as a wake-up call. You need to protect your body. You need to protect your body. You need to protect your soul. You need to protect your mind. And you need to protect your society from allowing these corrupt people to make the money that they're making to keep doing what they're doing. If you are buying these disgusting processed foods, these fast foods, these mainstream products, you are just as bad as they are. You are feeding them. You are giving them the power. Stop watching celebrities. Stop watching the mainstream. Stop watching Netflix, okay? We already knew for a while now Netflix was gay as hell, okay? It's fake and it's gay. Stop watching Netflix. I get Netflix for free and I still deleted it. The mainstream channel programs, stop consuming this shit. Stop watching Disney. Stop watching Nickelodeon. Cry about it. All these places, they are corrupt. If you keep giving them attention and giving them your money, you are giving them the influence and the power and the money that they need to keep doing the evil things that they've been doing behind the scenes, or sometimes just right in your face. And it's all of it. It's not just the foods. It's not just the entertainment. It's the clothes. Sometimes it's the cars. It's the grocery stores. I'm not allowed to enter Walmart anymore. Very interesting story. Last time I went to Walmart, it was a couple months ago. I went for like 2 items because they didn't have them at my organic store. But if I was going to get them, I was going to get them for cheap. So I went to Walmart. 2 items. One of the items I could not find because I was looking for a specific brand that, of course, Walmart did not sell because Walmart's cheap as fuck. And I started getting irritated that I couldn't find it. And then I started getting tense. Very tense. Unexplainably tense. And irritable. And soon it wasn't a frustration thing, it was a panic thing. There was a voice in my mind screaming at me to get the fuck out of Walmart and never come back. And I deal with a lot of anxiety, and eventually you just learn to just kind of tell it to shut up and leave you alone, and that you are in the mood to deal with, fear. But when I had that response to that voice, it started giving me all of these things. Reminder, this was before they released the Epstein Files. This was months ago. It started giving me all these things about what Walmart was involved in. That Walmart was involved with some of the worst shit that is happening in this world. Some of these corrupt things that are happening. That Walmart was involved with the poisoning. That Walmart was involved with spiritual warfare. With literally demonic things. I sensed it in that store. I'm getting chills right now talking about it. But I sensed it in that store that Walmart was doing deals. That there were demonic, satanic deals happening for its success. I got that sense. I got that information download. And I freaked out. And I left my cart where it was, grabbed my purse, and ran. I left Walmart, and I swore to never go back, and I have not gone back since. It was either that same day or it was the next day. My parents came over to my home for a little dinner, little family gathering, and my parents did grocery runs beforehand to help with the food. And my mom was telling me that her and my dad went to Walmart, and for no reason whatsoever, she lost her mind. She got super angry, super pissed, and stormed out of Walmart, left the cart there with all the groceries they had grabbed, and went to another store. It was either the same day or the next day. And I told her my story. My mom still goes to Walmart. I don't know why, because she doesn't listen, but I don't go to Walmart anymore. And then the thing came out with the files, the Epstein Files, and I wasn't surprised at all because, obviously, of course, Walmart was involved. I knew it. I could feel it. I can feel it standing in that store that they were involved, that the whole corporation, the entire fucking store, every product was tainted, was all involved in this demonic, satanic conspiracy. And I wasn't going to be involved with it. I wasn't going to give them their money. And I haven't gone back to Walmart since. And I'm never going back to Walmart. Ever. Especially after finding out that they had ties to that Epstein stuff. But neither should you. Okay, you need to get a feel for these kinds of things. You need to start actually thinking about who these CEOs are. Who are you giving your money to? What are you participating in? Because everything runs so much deeper than you think. Okay, and that segues back on to becoming independent. I lived off grid for many years with my parents, so I know how to do this. There are many, many off-grid communities starting up right now or have been around for a while. All around the US, there are huge acres of property of people creating off-grid communities right now as we speak for when the grid shuts off, or even just right now for anybody who's sick of participating in the system, in the economy. Living off-grid is an option. The only issue is having to pay for that land, having to pay taxes for that land. That's the only issue there is. You have to, laws vary by state about what you're allowed to do on land, but for the most part, you can live completely off-grid on a piece of land, and I did it with just me and my two parents. You don't need an entire community to live off-grid, but become independent. And if you don't want to become completely independent, find your communities. Build relationships with people. Build relationships with your local chicken farmer for your eggs and your meats. Build a relationship with your local vegetable gardener. Start making trades. Start, investing in local people. I know the system's tried to convince you for a long time. I know people like this who the system has convinced them for a long time that independent farmers somehow are producing gross and poisonous food. That's a fucking lie. Okay, organic food is so much better for you. locally owned, locally farmed, so much better for you. You do not want the store processed stuff. It's not clean. They didn't clean it. It's diseased. Pick the raspberries off the sticker bush. It's not a big deal. It really isn't. If there's a little bug in there, it's not going to kill you. I promise you. A little dirt on the strawberry, it's not going to kill you. It's good for you, actually. How the hell do you think our ancestors survived on this planet to make it up to where we are today? Anyway, another rant over. A lot of people keep making, well, I want to say making jokes, but honestly, it's not a joke anymore. It's so real. Lots of women are very pissed, saying, how about you give mothers, all mothers in America, a list of all the names on the Epstein Files, and you'll have that shit dealt with in 24 hours. Probably not even that. And it's not even a joke at this point. If you gave us, a 24-hour purge, all laws don't apply for 24 hours, and then you give all the mothers in America the names on that list, you'll be good. Problem will be solved. But, we're at the time now. We're, as a human race, we're at the point now. We're mature enough spiritually, psychologically. We are mature enough to understand now fighting fire with fire does not work. I started having these thoughts and kind of realizing that if you want to beat the evil, you cannot do evil against it. Violence is not going to fix the problem. And it made me think, lots of Christians are praying, and usually I'm not that kind of person to just sit around and pray for things to happen. I'd rather go make them happen. But the worst part about this, and the whole reason they're doing all of this, was for the sake of black magic. They were doing black magic rituals to gain power. I personally believe that Christianity and a lot of the practices of Christianity, a lot of the proper practices of Christianity, of people who have a genuine connection to Jesus, like prayer, fasting, which ties into a lot of things in the spiritual community, I do view it as white magic, in a sense. And, you can come at me if you want. I don't care. There are so many versions of Christianity, and I'm constantly hearing everybody losing their minds about what they do and they don't believe. I literally do not care about your religious perspective. I just want you to think about this, okay? They're using black magic. How do we defeat this? Not by doing more evil at the evildoers, but by participating in white magic. What would that look like? That would look like going out and helping random people on the street rather than going out and kidnapping random people on the street. That would look like helping your neighbor rather than assaulting your neighbor. That would look like praying that the world be uplifted in love and harmony rather than praying for its downfall. That would look like praying other people have a nice day rather than praying that reckless driver on the road crashes their car, or that person who looked at you sideways at the store stubs their toe later. It looks like actually wanting good, not justifying evil because it's happening to evil people, but praying for good things to happen instead. I'm not saying be toxically positive. I'm not saying be unaware of the evil happening. I'm saying with the intent of defeating evil, you need to understand that every single time you feel the need to start a fight with somebody who you think deserves it, every single time you want to argue with somebody because you think they're an idiot, every single time you want to put somebody in their place because they're always talking down on you, it only spreads more evil. Pray for the best for the people around you, no matter how they treat the people around them or what they're going through. Pray for the best for the people around you and the people all around the world. There is no human being on this world who is responsible for evil existing. I'm not saying the most evil people in the world are just straight victims. You know, they still make those choices, and they should still be served justice. But what I am saying is we all need to stop, and this is myself including, because I have severe anger issues, and I run my mouth a lot. I don't have a filter. I have these issues too. We all need to be just simply more positive and pray for the best for everyone and everything. Praying for your enemy's success, you have no idea how successful that can make you. You have, like, I could cry right now, I just might saying this. I've been getting really emotional throughout this whole thing because I can feel so much. I can feel it in my body how happy this makes God feel when I say the things I'm saying right now. But I can feel it welling up in my chest. You have no idea how much God just loves it when you actually pray for your enemy's success. Not pray for the success of evil, but pray for the success of somebody who it might inconvenience you, or it might upset you or hurt your ego if they were to succeed. Don't pray for evil success, but pray for the success of everybody, regardless of whether you think they're evil or not. And I don't mean pray for, money, fame. I mean pray for their happiness, their genuine peace. Pray that they find peace within themselves. Pray that they find love within themselves. That is the best, the strongest type of white magic you could possibly ever do. And it's not just good for those people, it's so good for yourself. You have no idea what kind of impact that makes on your own soul and your own psyche. When you see past the flaws of the people around you and recognize and understand that it's still another human being just like you, figuring it out, possibly under the influence of something evil, and could very well be a victim if you just gave them a chance and maybe a little nudge. I'm not saying self-sacrifice yourself, though. What I do know is praying for other people is never a self-sacrifice, ever. It always does so much more good for your soul than you could ever imagine. Moving on. This is a little bit more about news. And this is going to get dark and scary really fast, okay? Again, bear with me. Breathe. On that very happy note, it would seem like the moment Trump pulled the USA out of the World Health Organization, and somehow instantly, countries all around the world except for America have all miraculously at the same time found cures for cancer. It's almost like we always had the cure for cancer. It's just somebody was a little too greedy and liked profiting off of it and kept it hush hush. Again, as a conspiracy theorist, may I say it for all us conspiracy theorists again, we really hate to be right. Anyway, moving on. We can just celebrate about that, Yay, finally they're willing to just give us the cure for cancer. Let's hope that means that there's good things happening in the world, but it still is scary as Americans to think about that. Why does it seem like the moment we left the party, everybody's got the cure? Just think about that. Keep that in mind, because I could go on forever ranting about that, but you know what? I think it speaks for itself. I keep finding a lot of stuff online about people asking, news from other countries. First of all, news from other countries, but also what other countries are being told by their own people in power about America. When you hear what other people from other countries are hearing about America, things get really scary for us Americans here really fast. Like multiple countries have now labeled America as unsafe, and there is a warning for anybody who wants to travel here, which kind of feeds back to the get the fuck out of America thing. But as nice as it would sound to think that we could just leave this country and things would get better, when you look at all these other countries, it seems like everything is just bad. I can't even tell you what country looks like it could actually make it with no conflicts happening within it. Every citizen in that country getting out of this all just fine. Many leaders in these other countries are claiming that Trump and our government is trying to isolate us from the outside world, kind of like an iron curtain. I already knew this for a while, that all of Western civilization was developing an iron curtain around it. But now other leaders of other countries are straight up coming out and saying that now, that we are very isolated from the outside world. It is currently February 22nd. Very recently, there's a lot of reports coming out, not straight from the government, but straight from witnesses. There's a lot of signs that a war is about to start. And it's more than just, the news about these little teenage girl presidents bickering back and forth and talking shit at each other like little high school girls, obviously. It's more than just threats at this point. There's aircraft taking off. There are military personnel eating extravagant meals. They're gearing up for something. There was lots of shit talking, and now there's a couple weapons being fired in other countries, but right now our country is gearing up for something. People keep saying this over and over and over again. Power grid is going to be the first thing to go. But if this happens, if World War III happens, or even if the strike were to happen and be successful, the power grid is going to be one of the first things to go. Which is why I'm saying you need to learn how to be independent. You need to have a survival pack. I know we don't have enough time now to be buying properties and land and learning to live off grid. But if you can, find communities near you. Get a community of people. Get your survival packs ready. Store up water, store up on food, first aid kits. I'm going to be making a whole video later on what you're going to need for a survival pack. I was in search and rescue for a little over a year, and I did live off grid for 3 or 4 years with my parents. Even before then, we were a huge camping family. We loved camping. I wasn't like in the military or something. I didn't, live on a deserted island for a year or two. But I know quite a bit on this stuff. I actually just bought the last of the supplies that I need earlier today. So I'll be posting a video hopefully soon after this one about everything you'll need. In the meantime, stay safe, spread love, prepare. It's better to be safe than sorry. I'd rather nothing happen and you be calling me crazy later than something happen and you're struggling to survive. I don't want to be right. I am being dead serious, okay? When I'm saying this, it's not a joke. I'm being completely serious. I do not like being right when it comes down to this stuff. Protect your family. Figure out systems. Rehearse them. Fire drills. Whatever it is, okay? And spread love, please. Remind your family you love them. Pray for the grouchy neighbor next door. Pray for the jackass cutting people off on the road. Pray for the enlightenment and the happiness and the peace and the love for our planet. If you really don't want this World War to happen, World War III, you need to make sure it doesn't. You need to contribute to that peace, that world peace. It starts with you. It doesn't start with the government. It starts with you. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have a good day or night, whenever it is you are watching. Hopefully, I will see you later. Goodbye.